This is the plot of just doominess and stuff going wronginess. That should be the name of this plot. Okay, we're trying this again because I just did a whole clip and I hadn't hit record on any of it. Okay, so the sun has just come out, so it's changed my feeling completely, but let me take you for a walk. So we've got that kind of summery weather that's coming in. That is that beautiful, gorgeous sunshine, boom, deluge of rain. Beautiful, gorgeous sunshine, boom, loads of rain. So of course that means the weeds, when I came up the other week, were no kidding this high. And it's then all you can do is just get onto strimming and try and get on top of them. So we completely cleared this section of the plot. And I came in today and it was all knee-high again. And we got working on this section in the middle and the whole section down the back. And again, I came in today and it's all coming back quite high. So I've had to, hence I'm absolutely covered in bits of plant everywhere because I was out getting that all trimmed earlier. So that was a job I did because I thought that's a job that I can, like Kate does, instant gratification gardening. I got that job done, which meant I could see a difference and I feel better for it. So yeah, I mean, the other week we got here and I don't know, I'm going to see if I can show you it, but this, see the gap in the wall? That's the entrance we used to come to the plot. We park the car up there and we come down that wee kind of slight hilly bit there. But the other week we got here and it was so covered in weeds that we had to trim just to get into the plot. So yeah, so that week we trimmed a path there because we couldn't get in, because at the back of the plot is where all the brambles and nettles and all that kind of stuff is. So we had to trim a path because we couldn't get round here anymore. And we come in there and the gate's there, so we had to get round. So you can see we've got a new path. Not a new path, but we've now got quite a nice path there. So that's cool. We've still got a fair bit to go at that end behind the compost bins. It's still quite bad behind there. But we also got around the plot done. And Kate got in with a hole, and we've got a little draw hole. She got in with that and she cleared everything. But again, I got in and it's all back. And I know it's just part and parcel, but it does sometimes get to you, especially because I got in today and man, things just look rough. So the big excitement last week that I wanted to tell you about was I got my squash and my courgettes in. I have got my Uchikukuri red squash. They're the ones that are in here and they're going to hopefully climb. But I got in today and they just looked awful, like they looked dead. And I completely, when I planted them up, I watered the living daylights out of everything. I've even mulched. I know you guys were saying last time in the video that I should put mulch down. I'd already actually done the mulch by that point, and a straw mulch, the same as I use at home. So I had done that, but still. However, they don't look as rough as the courgettes. So what I did, this was the bed that I had sown parsnips in, and I thought I maybe had 3 or 4 parsnips out of that whole debacle with the weeds. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll have to go back and watch the last video because it is quite a story. But I got here last week and they were all gone, there was nothing. So I put the courgettes in this bed. And again, they're not dead, but they look awful. These were all looking amazing when I planted them last week. So yeah. And then the other one, spaghetti squash, which looks the worst of all of them. So if I put you here and bring you down, now they actually look better now than they did when I got here because I've given them a good water. But clearly watering is the thing I really need to get on top of. I'm obviously not watering enough. So I'm really going to have to sort that out. My plan had been to always come up a weekend and one evening during the week, but I didn't manage it because Parker's poorly and I've needed to be at home. But it's been chucking it down all week, so I thought it was going to be fine. Clearly not, because the ground is like dust. And I'm not joking when I say it's been chucking it down for a week. Like, I'm pretty sure one of my neighbours is building an ark. That's how bad it's been. So yeah, so see, if you guys ever feel like you only ever see perfect stuff on social media and it gets you down, you can see what a disaster my plot is. Oh, the one good thing, I reckon I'll be harvesting scapes next week. Yes, because now I can't see them. There were loads. Yeah, there, look. Scapey goodness. So as you guys know, I grow hardneck garlic because I love the scapes. So I'm reckoning scapes next week, and then maybe 3 weeks after I'll be harvesting the garlic. So hurrah for that at least. One harvest. My plot neighbour, the one after Julie, Robin, he's got so much gorgeous garlic. His plot just looks amazing, to be honest, but he lives locally, so I think he can get here quite a lot to water. I can feel all the bits of dried mushed up plant that are all over me from strimming. Oh, and I've got a sharp thing. Okay, yes. Did I tell you my beans all died? Don't remember if I told you that. Well, not all. There's 4 that might survive, but to be honest, they are not looking good. However, I put a call out, and my friend Lindsay has given me the beans she's got left over. She thinks they look absolutely awful, and she was worried about giving me them. But given that mine's all died just about, I'm grateful. Because the whole thing is, I wanted Greek gigantus beans this year. I was really looking forward to growing them. But rather than have a bed with nothing grown in it, it's better that I'm growing something, because it's given me that chance to learn this year. And this year on the plot is about learning. It's about learning how things grow here, how much watering I need to do, what will grow well, what won't grow well, all of that stuff. So yeah, I'm going to have some climbing beans in here instead of the gigantus, but it gives me something to grow in here. And who knows, maybe I'll get a harvest at some point. It could happen. This is a massive thank you to Lindsay for giving me all her spare beans. I don't need all of these, but it lets me choose the good ones and get them in. So 2 varieties here. We've got climbing green, probably something like cobra. She did tell me, but I can't remember. So yeah, but how awesome, because it means I actually have stuff grown. So let's get it going. I've pre-watered, thankfully, because my battery has run out of the pump and I can't water anymore. But I did actually already water. I'm just going to have to do another blast with a bucket just to make sure these get really soaked. There we go. I'll put that there so I know this side is green. And this is just awesome. This is just weeds, I'm just pulling them as I see them. Okay, and on that side we have climbing purple. Oh, Lindsay, you are such a lifesaver. And the funny thing is, that's how Lindsay and I met, that's how we're friends. Because I had too much basil and Lindsay needed basil. So we met because she came and I gave her some basil. And we became good friends. Because you cannot have too many gardening friends in the world. Right, I'll give them a water in. I'm very aware I have no gloves on. And I'm pulling thistles. Now, something I wasn't expecting. I've got these two little dwarf apple trees here, a Katie and a Discovery. Now, they are very, very young apple trees, so not expecting a harvest in the slightest. They're in pots because I was too slow. I didn't get that bit ready in time to get them planted in the ground. However, look at this. Look at this. One little tiny apple on the Katie. Now, whether or not that is an apple I will get to harvest this year, we shall see. Because the Katie at home has got, well, had two little apples on it. Birds have got one of them, so there's now one on there. This year, I'm finding a lot of things that were not bothered by birds and pests and stuff. They seem to have found them this year. Now, speaking of which, I'm taking you in the fruit cage. We have fruit cage happy. We have raspberries. Look. Yay! So this is my summer raspberries, and the plants have all got little baby raspberries on them, so hurrah! The autumn raspberries, don't think I'll get anything this year, but that's fine. However, I brought you in here for a sad thing. Now, I mentioned that I hadn't hit record earlier, so I've already looked at this and I've worked out, I think, what the culprit might be, but I have to pretend so that you get to join in with the whole thing, okay? So I'm going to do my best to act now, right? I'm not an actress, so bear with me, there will be no Golden Globes here. But blueberries. So 2 beds with 4 plants. 3 of these came from home and 1 I actually bought. They were all looking stunning just a few weeks ago. They all had blossoms on them. Some of them had fruit on them. And over the last couple of weeks, they all developed fruit. And I was so excited. The best they have ever looked. However, this one has been looking awful for the last few weeks. You can see it went all brown and crunchy at the top. Everything's dried up, frazzled. There's still some green material, but generally it looks awful. I mean, there's even some icky stuff down at the bottom. Broken branches. I don't know what's happened there. It dropped all the leaves and fruit, which there's no sign of them anymore. Hey ho. However, this was the only one. I came in this morning to find this one is exactly the same. No leaves, no fruit, looks awful. And I discovered something else I'll show you in a second. But one of the things that I noticed here, because as I mentioned, I put the straw mulch down, all around here the dirt is up over the mulch and there's a bit of a hole there. Thing is, it looks like an animal has been fiddling around under here. But I can't be certain because it could have been me weeding as well, I can't remember. But it's the same over there. That blueberry, it's the same. The branches are gone, the leaves are gone, the fruit's gone, but there is nothing around the plants. It's not like it's just dropped them because they're not on the ground. But this one here, all the lower branches are gone. Do you see where I'm going with this? In fact, that was my acting went wrong. That was the bit I discovered while I was showing you last time, and I was meant to discover it. I've ruined that. But what I discovered last time was, if you look here, I don't know how well you'll see, but it looks like little chompy teeth marks all the way down on the lower bits of the branches. And it's the same over here. I noticed the low down bark. Here, look. The bark's all been stripped. Bunnies or rats or something. So I might have to put the wildlife cam up so I can keep an eye and see. However, the sweet corn all looks really good. It's all looking really good. It's all thickening up. Nice big thick stalks. And what I've also done, I don't know if you can tell, again, the whole thing with this year, I'm learning. So with sweet corn, this year's learning is trying to work out when to sow things to get plants the right size, the right time. So what I've done is in between the squares where I've put the sweet corn last time, and you guys were all telling me I had been over generous with spacing, so I've put a smaller plant in each section so I can see that's a later sown plant. How will it do? It lets me work out sowing times. Okay. Oh, So there is something I'm wanting to do. And again, I'm going to add this to the pile of doom and gloom. These first early potatoes, they should be ready by now. However, I don't think there'll be anything in here. Now, my reasoning being, there's not enough of the foliage has died back and I'm not seeing any flowers forming. That's normally a good sign that there's tubers formed under the soil. But also, I think I just haven't been keeping on top of the watering for this either. And the thing is, if you remember back to when I planted these, I went quite heavy on the seed potatoes because I've always grown in bags. Well, I say always, I haven't grown potatoes in a very long time, but when I did, I always grew in bags. And with first and second earlies, I go quite heavy on them because I want the tiny little baby potatoes. Whereas with the main crop potatoes, I want those bigger potatoes for like chopping up and using and things. So I was hoping to get lots of the little baby ones, but these are just bone dry. I don't think I'm going to get anything at all. I'm going to be disappointed. But let's see. Of course, the benefit of the bags is it's dead easy to harvest. Oh, there's one. Now, I have a small problem. I don't have any way of collecting a harvest up here. I don't have my basket or anything, so I'm going to have a think about how I do this. So if you're ever wondering, there's the original seed potato. So you can see that that goes all wrinkly and dies off, okay? And then there are the new potatoes. Oh, that's bigger than I was wanting. That's quite big, okay? Tiny, slightly smaller than I was hoping for. So let's put them there. So I planted 5 in this bag, which was quite heavy going. But if I had kept on top of the watering and feeding the way I kind of had hoped I would expect to get maybe 7 or 8 little potatoes from each of those seed potatoes, and that's just not happened. I can tell you now, because there's lots that are far too small. There are some at least, but I may leave the other bag and give it another couple of weeks and a really, really good water and feed. That might be it. It's a seed potato. This is so dry. Yeah, watering is the thing I really need to get my head around up here. Okay, I'm pretty sure this time that's it. Okay, I need to get some sort of harvest basket device. 2 minutes. So like I said, if you've never grown potatoes before, this is not an awesome harvest. It's a harvest, and I'm going to take that positive because I've had such a bad time up here that I'm taking it. It's not the harvest I was expecting, but given the size, looking at these, it is 100% because I haven't kept on top of watering, which now I know that it's like, right, okay, we need to work on this. Now, I've taken as many of these tiny little ones as I was seeing in there because If you've ever heard anyone talk about volunteer potatoes, what happens is if you leave any of these little ones in that compost and you reuse it, you will get potato plants from these. It'll happen. And that's what a volunteer potato is. It's a potato plant that you didn't plant, which is fine, unless they're somewhere you didn't want them. But that is not an amazing harvest, but it's a harvest, and that is a few meals for us. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm going to take it. It's a start. Yeah, I needed that today. That's the wee boost I needed. Hurrah! So this is the other bag of first earlies. What I'm going to do is leave this, and I'm going to give it a really good water today, because I don't need any other potatoes for tea this week. So I'll give it a really good water, and I'll do all the rest of them, and I'll give it a wee seaweed feed as well. And then hopefully it's a bit like that one, and we'll have lots of small potatoes in there that over the next few weeks I'll get bigger, and I'll get a better harvest that way. But that's the second earlies, and that's my main crop. Hands up if you totally forgot to earth up your main crop. They've been grown away, and I've been thinking, oh, they're doing really well, they're massive, and it only dawned on me last week. I've been totally forgetting to earth them up. Main crop potatoes are different. They grow potatoes out of the stem under the soil, and you earth it up, and the more of it that is in the soil, the more potatoes it grows. Whereas your early crops, these grow just a batch of potatoes under the ground, so you don't need to earth them up. Muppet. I'm having a nightmare this year. But yes, so let's get them all watered and fed and stuff, and I'll start earthing these guys up more, because I am useless. Now, the other thing I haven't done yet is I still haven't sorted my compost bins. The outside shells of them are there, but I've not got them ready to use yet, and I'm missing out on all this good compostables. I'm going to water these before I earth them up, because earthing them up will act like a mulch. So I may as well take advantage of that. There we go. And what I'm doing is I'll just do this with them all. So it's the equivalent of hilling up, if you ever do that in the ground. Same idea, we're just making sure it's all covered. And the stuff I'm using, this is my farmyard mix. This stuff is just really good quality. Beans are planted and they've had a good drink. Now I'm going to harvest all my bolted broccoli so we can have it with dinner. So this is the thing. Things haven't gone to plan. Broccoli is just bolting at some rate of knots. What you can see here, right, this is really bad. These are the side spears that happen after you harvest the main head. So obviously they've gone a bit mad. But even the ones that haven't bolted yet, you can see they're quite loose, and you're going to see that with the heads in a minute as well. When they're quite loose like that, they're about to flower basically. So you might as well just grab them. But the thing is, it's okay, because they're all edible. The stems on broccoli are edible and taste amazing, so don't get down about it all. But I'm going to show you this. So you can see the heads, these yellow bits, that's the bits that are about to flower. So that's it going. So I may as well just take them off now, rather than leaving it to flower and let the side shoots come on. Because if I don't, look at it like this. I'm going home with loads of broccoli and fresh new tatties for dinner tonight. I mean, that's plenty of broccoli. I could do a broccoli soup.